Yo, 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 man. Welcome to the Voice of College Football, Florida State edition, man. What's going on, Matthew? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Sam?
Man, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm actually a little excited, for the day. So, um,
hmm
what's up with you, man?
Not much, man. Just working, and just I already got that football itch. Even though it's 3, 4 months away from we actually start seeing games and stuff, but
Oh, are you
I'm
actually ready for football season already?
already, man, already.
Wow. That's not me. I actually enjoy the off seasons nowadays. I mean, maybe because Florida State sucks so bad, I just kind of be like not really like super happy
Yeah,
to see it come out, see it play out. But I'm actually excited though. I'm excited to talk about the most important players on the team. We had a pretty good sports weekend with women's basketball being back and Florida State softball going through their little run again. Do you know my
hmm
wife is like a diehard FSU softball fan? Like
Oh,
she's like,
really?
yeah, bro.
Okay.
Like she like occupies tablets and TVs with it. Like she's all about the softball life, and she's been
Okay.
keeping me up to date with your boy Makai Danzy
hmm
breaking these records in track and field right now too. So
Man, seems
she
like
loves
every time I see his name, he done said some kind of personal best. He done said something.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I
He's
mean,
incredible.
if it was me, I mean, I don't know if how much more football I'll be playing. I
Did
mean,
you
if you got
did you
Olympic,
see that tweet he put out?
nah.
I think it was Danzy. He was saying something like, "Imagine it's the first game of the season, and I'm back there receiving the kickoff, and run it back for a touchdown." And he was just something like he was dreaming out loud or something like that. I think I saw
Oh,
that today. So
yeah,
yeah,
man.
man,
I mean, that dude's fast, man. Like
super
that.
fast,
They
world
might, they
class
might,
speed.
they might have something with that one. They might have something if he can play football. I don't know if he can play football though. So
Right.
we got to see if he can play football. Um, while we got people here, man, make sure you like and subscribe the YouTube page, and we actually are on Apple and on Spotify. If you want the audio version of this show, just type in Florida State Seminoles Voice of College Football. It'll pop right up. I did it myself this weekend, so uh, for people that's surrounded, make sure you get that thing 5-star reviews wherever you at.
Yes,
And
sir.
let's let's get into the most important people. So I'm gonna let you go to name your uh top five players that you think are the most important. And then I know we got some similar, so we'll kind of talk about the guys that we got similar, then we'll talk about the other guys that both of us uh differentiate on why
Okay.
we don't have them on there.
Yeah. Well, number one for me is Castellanos, the quarterback. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the most important position in the sport, and you can have everything go right on both sides of the ball. If you don't have a quarterback, your team's not going nowhere. So he's definitely number one for me. Two for me is the real Jackson Jr.
Mhm.
because I really feel like with that 3-3-5, man, they don't have somebody in that middle that's really holding the fort down. Then that's just going to be a trickle down effect to the whole defense not being bad because that means guys are not being kept clean on the second level, and that means we're probably not going to be good against the run. Which means teams are going to control the ball, which means our offense is going to be stale. They're not going to be on the field a lot. So definitely him. Third for me is Gunnar Hansen, who's like he's gonna take over that left tackle spot, and I think
Mhm.
that's just because when you got a right-handed quarterback, you always want his blind side protected. So he's gonna be important. Um, James Williams, edge rusher, the transfer from Nebraska. I have him at four because we're gonna need somebody to be able to not only get after the passer, but set the edge against the run. He's going to be very important. And for me, because I think he's going to start out as the starter, I don't know if he's going to keep it, but I think Roydell Williams, the running back, the senior, he's going to be very important because we need to have something come out of the running game. It was so bad last
Okay. And on my list that you don't have is Makai Pettis, Earl Little, and Javion Boggs. So I'm gonna talk about why I think Boggs was kind of important. Mike has done they got a really bad track record with recruiting high school, especially at wide receiver, getting those guys on the field, getting them playing good. And I actually
Right.
think that if somebody like a true freshman like Boss can come in and have like 500 yards and 30 or 40 catches, that'll go a long way on the recruiting trail for them. I think he's a very important player for FSU. Um, Earl Little, I don't think you had Earl. I got Earl. Um, I don't know much about this defense. Well, I don't know much about how they're going to play this defense with this personnel. Um, but Earl to me is a guy that I think could be an NFL guy, and I don't think there's a lot of NFL guys on this defense right now.
Right.
I think Earl is one. Daryl Jackson is one. I think Edwin Joseph has the opportunity to become one.
Mhm.
But I think once you get past those three guys, the linebackers, I'm kind of like, I don't think so. So he got the most potential to be an NFL guy. So if he can hit his strides at safety, I think that'll go a long way as far as recruiting and things like that. So let's start at the top with Thomas Castellanos, man. What kind of season do you think he got to have since he's number one on both our lists?
To me, if he gets around 3,000 yards passing, and I say maybe because I think he's going to run a lot. I think that's going to be a big part of his game. I say anywhere between maybe 6 to 800
Mhm.
yards rushing,
Right.
and probably I would say I'm gonna say around 35 total touchdowns,
Okay. That's a
running and passing.
that's a legit season for him.
Yeah,
What's interesting about Thomas Castellanos, because I know a lot of people saying that Bill O'Brien was using him wrong last year. This is like something I keep hearing this, and I find this kind of funny. But
mhm,
I watched a lot of Boston College last year because well, I actually like Bill O'Brien. So I kind of when
right.
NFL guys come into college and coach college, I always find it interesting how they assimilate into college and how they do things. So I like to kind of watch what they do schematically and things like that.
Mhm.
And I think a big problem with Bill O'Brien, with Castellanos, is he did run him early in the season. But the big problem with Castellanos, and this happened to him in a few games, is he his I mean, he's a very small guy. So he can only
Right.
take so much pounding. You know what I'm saying? So he would fumble the football a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't lose every fumble, but he'll put the ball on the ground. So when
Mhm.
you dropping the ball on the ground, it does create a thing with the offensive coordinator where you're like, how much do I really want to have design runs for somebody that's not going to hold the football? Um, so I think with Castellanos with FSU, I think the first goal for him would be you need him to make it through the whole season. Like you need him because he
Absolutely.
he does get hurt and he does miss games. And I don't think FSU backup quarterback situation is really that bad because I think Brock Glenn can kind of run
Yeah.
most of this offense. I don't
Mhm.
think it'd be that much of a fall off, but Castellanos gives you he gives you that 60-yard threat, that guy that can really go the
Right.
distance. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think on
Got
the
to get his head
offense,
scope.
you don't have too many guys that can just they touch the ball, it go the distance. Like Jalen Lucas is a guy, and I don't know what you got at wide receiver that can do that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. It's 9 o'clock. You're killing me.
No, you good.
But yeah. So I do think with Castellanos, it's gonna be about getting him through the season. If you can get him through the season, and I 3,000 yards is pretty ambitious. I think if you get him to 3,000 yards total, I would think that'll be a pretty decent season. If so,
So
it's like
you probably thinking more like 2,500 throwing, maybe 500 rushing.
yeah, because I do feel like he's gonna take sacks. I think he's gonna take some sacks, so that's gonna kind of knock his numbers off. I'd be surprised if he rushed past 500 yards rushing. To be honest with you, I would If he get over 500 yards rushing, that'll be a pretty elite season. That'd be more than what I would expect for him, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's 500 yards for a quarterback. That's a lot. I mean, unless you really are running the quarterback a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people kind of confuse. Like, I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna go look up somebody that I know ran the football a lot, like Milrow, and see what Milrow ran for last year. And they did a lot of design run with him because that coach hated throwing the football with Milrow. So,
Right.
um, but I know like Lamar had what? I think Lamar have 1,000 yards rushing his
The
Heisman Trophy
year
year?
the year you won the Heisman,
Yeah,
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think he did.
If he didn't, I know he was close to it.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
see.
but I can't remember off the top of my head
Let me see here. Rushing yards. Because Miro only threw for 2,800 yards last year.
though. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, he had 726 yards last year running. Miro did.
Euro
So,
726. Okay.
yeah, Miro had 726 last year. And they ran him a lot. Like, they ran
A
him. I
lot.
mean,
Yeah.
but he could take it. I mean, Miro's a
Right.
big dude. You know what I'm saying? You can run him a
Yeah.
lot. So, I
He's
would be
definitely.
I would be surprised, to be honest with you. They run him a lot. And the other
Okay.
player I think I had that you didn't have, Makai Pettis, which I heard he
Hmm.
didn't practice during the spring. That's concerning.
Right.
Um, and I don't know if that's because of injury or that because of money. It's one or the other. Could be the latter. Could be both. Maybe two things could be true in that situation. But I mean, he's an NFL. No, he's not. He got NFL potential
Potential.
at
Right.
tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say
Yeah.
he's an NFL
That's
tackle
a better
because
way to put it. Yeah.
right, he got potential NFL potential at tackle,
Hmm.
but he's definitely a guy. If you're talking about running the football, he can anchor a run game, in my opinion. So that's a guy I think can give you a lot if you can hit on him. And I already touched on Balls and Earl. So let's talk about James Williams, man. What did that dude's stat line need to look like?
Whew. Um. I mean, I think he's probably he's probably gonna have to be close to a double digit sack guy for you. I feel like because I don't really see a whole lot that you can count on from the edge as far as that you can bank on that you're going to get next year. He's probably kind of your more juicy type rusher. So I think a lot of that's going to fall on his shoulders. So if he's not a double digit sack guy, he's going to have to be close to it for me. And he's going to have to be good against the run. He's going to have to set that edge too.
So you talking about double digits? You talking about you need him at 10 or 11?
Well, if he's not, he's going. I think he needs to be at least around 8.
Mm, okay. I think it'd be about him just being disruptive. 8 sacks would be pretty good. Yeah, 8 sacks would be pretty good. You know,
Yeah,
you need him to be just
that'd be a
disruptive,
good
man.
year for him. Yeah,
He was like a rotational guy at Nebraska, right? So I think he was like special situations at Nebraska. So that low key concerns me a little bit.
I just think he's going to be relied upon a lot. I think they're going to ask him to do a lot. So I think he's going to have to, he's going to be thrown into the fire a little bit more here at Florida State than he was at Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and when he's going into like his fourth year, I think, in college, so he should be able to take on more. In the,
Exactly.
the in the ACC, he's not gonna be going against better offensive lines than he went against in the Big Ten. The Big Ten got some of the best offensive lines. I mean,
Right.
other than like NC State, Clemson actually got some NFL guys on the offensive line this year, which they've never really had NFL guys before, but this year they do. I know they got two guys that people were saying are like gonna probably be top 50 picks,
Yeah,
or top 75 picks.
they did. They've always said NFL guys on the defensive
Yes, I'm here now. Yeah. Yeah, they got a couple top 50 guys on that offensive line. So I think the bigger deal would be if you can get FSU to. I think collectively, I would like to see them have high sack numbers collectively. Either give me
Mhm.
high sack numbers or high turnover numbers. You know, can
Right.
you get high turnover numbers? Because I think this defense is supposed to stop the run and create pressure situations where you can get more turnovers. And so
Yeah.
I think it's really going to. I think this defense will be judged by how many turnovers it gets instead of how many sacks it gets. To be honest with you, which I think
Yeah.
that's why you got Daryl Jackson ranked kind of high because I mean
Yeah.
he's the type of guy that probably can cause that type of disruption.
Yeah. And for what I've read on the defense, it's defense is meant to cause a lot of confusion.
Hmm.
So hopefully that can create some of these turnovers that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's the basis. Like everything I read up on it is about confusion, keeping the offense all off balance. So, and if you can keep offense doing that, that can create a lot of turnovers. So hopefully they can like marry, what they're trying to do and actually, produce it on the field. It's easier said than done, but confusion is the word that I've heard and read several times. That's what the whole idea of the 3-3-5 is to create confusion for the offense.
Let me ask you this question though: Why Rodell Williams?
Because something tells me that he's going to be the starter.
Mm,
I feel like game one he's going to be the guy that's going to start. And the reason why I put that caveat earlier is I said if he holds it is because I'm not confident that he will.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just based upon what I saw last year, he didn't do enough last year for me to have confidence in it. I just feel like he's going to start the year as being the top guy. So especially in that Alabama game, I think he's going to have to give us something because it's like we can't run the ball against Bama. And it's going to be a long day. But I just feel like he's going to be the day one guy. So that's why I put him there. And as you saw last year, we just could not run the ball. So and we need to run the ball this
What's interesting is I think with the running backs, with this team, I think this team is actually built to be good in the red zone area.
year.
With the big wide receiver, with Deuce, tight
Yep.
ends, the running quarterback. So if they can get to the red zone, I actually think they're going to be I think they're going to be a halfway decent red zone team. To be honest with you.
And somebody who I thought about putting on here because I remember you mentioned him earlier. You think he's gonna catch a lot of passes is Pittman.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got Randy Pittman. I think he's going to lead the team in receptions. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm of the opinion he's going to lead the team in receptions. That's just my opinion. I think he's going to get the most dynamic matchups. As far as being matched up on linebackers and things like that. I think he's
hmm
going to be like the joker player that they move around a lot. So I definitely think Pittman's going to be the guy. Like I think there's a chance they having a really, really good season that he can be like the Mackey Awards. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty high. But I think there's a chance he
right.
could be a part of the Mackey Awards or whatever. Um, and I think got a question right here. How many active running backs we have
And
right
running
now?
back
I think what is it?
active.
4, 5?
Yeah, where the hell was it? Really,
So you got
Lucas, Cam,
Rodell, Cam.
Cam Singleton,
You got Sam Singleton.
Cam. So that's three.
Yeah, and then you got the kid that came from Penn State. I forgot what his
Yep,
name is. And then you're gonna have the true freshman.
yep.
And
Pro
however
Bowl. So
you
that's
what
that's
is
five.
Jalen Lucas? Because Jalen Lucas is like a gadget guy. I don't know if he's a
Yeah,
running
he's
back or
pretty
a
much a
wide
guy.
receiver.
I haven't I didn't look at the roster. They see what they have him listed as, but
Yeah.
I mean he is definitely a gadget guy. I mean I guess you could throw him in the running back.
Right. I think he's
Yeah,
like in a running back, but yeah,
yeah,
so
he's a running back.
they got a chance, man. I think they're gonna be good in the red zone. I just think it's gonna be hell getting there.
Hmm
Because if you're gonna run the ball a lot, then and if you don't have explosive running backs, that means it's gonna be hard for you to really break big plays. I don't know how
Yeah,
many big plays they're gonna be able to break this year. I don't think they're
and
gonna be a big play offense like I want it to be.
and then also if you're not going to be exposed, you got to be really good schematically. 'Cause
Right.
you're gonna have to be able to scheme
And
way more
technically,
so
you
than.
got to be technically sound, so you can't have
Hmm.
false
Yep.
starts. You can't have procedural penalties. You can't have holding penalties. You can't have, what I'm saying? It's like
Hmm.
when you become this like 5 yard in the cloud of dust offense, a lot of you can't
Right.
have a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's gonna be a big deal. Um, I the more I look at the offense from afar, I think the offense is gonna be better than the defense.
Okay.
I keep coming back to I'm pretty sure the offense is gonna be better than the defense. I would be surprised if the defense is better than the offense, to be honest with you. I think the defense got more moving pieces. They run a totally different defense than they ran last year.
Hmm.
It's a lot of new faces on the defense. I think there's a chance because this offense isn't a very good passing offense. The first real good passing offense they're going to see is Alabama, the first game out, and I think you could see some blown coverages the
Hmm.
first game because this offense that we have isn't throwing the ball a lot. It is running the ball a lot. It's trying to create an identity of running the football a lot. So if the first time you see a real pro style offense throwing the football is your first game, it's a chance that you get fooled a lot.
Food. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Alabama offensive line will be the best offensive line they play. Because I mean, the Caden Proctor kid's
Yeah.
probably going to be
Pretty
like
much.
a first round pick.
First rounder. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that center and those guys are all NFL guys.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's
Yeah.
a pretty legit offensive line they're going to play. I mean, other than Clemson, I don't know if they play a better. Well, you got Florida, you got Miami, Clemson, and
Yeah.
Alabama.
Miami. Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say. Yeah.
And I
Miami.
don't think I don't think we play NC State this year, do we? They got a good
Uh.
they got a good offensive line too. Yeah. So that's basically where I would put it at, to be honest with you. Anybody else you got on the offense or defense that you let me ask you this. What coach is the most important coach outside of Mike Norvell?
Most important coach. Ooh.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, Herb Hand for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly though, of all the coaches, I think
Hmm.
out of all the coaches Mike hired the first time, I think Thompson has been the best coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's done a pretty good job recruiting. He's brought in blue chip guys at the position.
Hmm.
His guys stay, they don't all transfer out. I mean, he's had some buzz, but he's brought in more good players than bad to me, in my opinion. And
And
he's still
yeah,
bringing in pretty good players.
yeah,
Yeah. Thompson's
true.
been probably a little bit better than I thought he was going to be when he first got hired. But yeah, I agree with her, man. He is
Yeah,
the most important coach of the staff, man. If they don't get that guy, if they don't get them offensive linemen playing good, it's gonna be a long year.
yeah, man. And but something tells me he's establishing something down there.
Yeah,
He
I like.
he's like he's probably my favorite hire that they made.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Even yeah, even like more so than Gus.
Mike Norvell has to let each running backs run in consecutive plays first to let them get a good feel before he begin subbing them in and out. That's gonna be so interesting because um
That's a nice point, bro.
um Gus doesn't do a lot of subbing.
Hmm.
Normally the players that he want to get the ball to, they play the whole game. Like they don't really come out that much.
Right.
Even his running back rotations are not really that big. They're like two or three guys.
Hmm.
So I wonder with Gus, will we actually see less subbing at the running back and at the skill positions this year? I think that's a big question going forward. Like, cause
Good
I
point.
do think they sub too much.
Right. Me too.
Yeah, I thought they subbed too much last year.
Especially last year.
On defense, I thought it was crazy. On offense, it was definitely insane. I just, dude, we talk about this stuff in the playoffs because people always talk about the Knicks. Like the Knicks, they don't play enough people. And I told somebody it's the playoffs. Like, how many players do y'all think supposed to play? It's like the playoffs is high stress
Go with your doc. Go with your top
situations.
dogs.
I mean, if you got 7 guys, that's to me, that's pretty good in
Yeah,
the playoffs.
if you got like 7, 8 legit guys, you should be good.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, I
think,
mean, as far as like 7, 8 guys that are really, really contributing, really, really getting down and dirty, yeah.
and most
And
of
of
these
course, you're
guys,
gonna have like 3 or 4 more guys doing other little things. Yeah, about seven,
right?
eight. Yeah,
Yeah,
you good.
I mean, I don't. People keep talking about they need to sub more. I'm like, they because somebody was talking about where the Pacers are deeper than the Knicks, and I was like, well, how many players do the Pacers have out of the what 11 guys they playing that are better than the 7 guys that the Knicks are gonna play? I don't think the
Right,
guys are that much better. If you sub out your top guy, is you sub out of somebody that's just as good? Because you
right.
probably not. So I don't know. That's just a rant. I just be so tired of people saying. I'm like, it's the playoffs. The
Right.
people y'all want to play. Like, it's ridiculous. And I feel the same way in college football. Like I don't understand the subbing. I'd be like, dude, if you
Yeah,
got an NFL wide receiver or NFL defensive lineman, why you got to sit on the sideline after 2 plays?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Nigga,
It don't make any sense to me. I'm just
because you're like you're actually pigeonholing the draft stock. 'Cause then he's gonna be labeled as just a one trick pony.
yeah. I mean, if I brought you here to play football, we pay NIL money. Play
Exactly.
football. Yeah, you know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
That's the whole point. That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, if Gus is calling the shots, that's how he subs. Then I want to see who the top running back is going to be. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's how Gus is going to call it. Like I'm the Gus Mike relationship is going to be like the storyline when we get to about end of October
Hmm.
because that's either going to be going really really good or really really bad, and I don't think it's going to be no in between with that.
Okay.
I just don't think it's gonna be no in between with that. And I don't care what nobody says, dude. It is hard for offensive coaches to stand back and just give the offense away.
Right.
That's like the hardest thing for them. And I don't understand that because to me, a good head coach should be able to coach the whole team. And you should
Hmm.
be fine with giving offense away, but it is like a struggle, man. It's like they cannot let that leash go ever. Which
Yeah.
is so we gonna see how the Mike Norville and Gus relationship work out, man. I don't. That's gonna be tough because Gus is a head coach. Gus has always
Right.
ran his own program. He's ran
Hmm.
his own thing for the last
Suc-
what 20, 30
Successful
years.
programs too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
successful programs. And if somebody said, "Hey, I don't want to run that on third down or fourth down," I mean, like, how did that conversation go?
Hmm.
You know, so that's gonna be interesting. So we'll see how that go, man. What you think about Deuce Robinson though? Do you think he have a big year?
I mean, I think they're gonna need him to, because I think he's gonna be one of your. He's probably gonna be your wide receiver 1 or 2.
Mhm.
Probably when the season starts.
But he's your wide receiver one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna try to get him the football often.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
with his size and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a guy who's gonna be relied on a lot. He has some skills, but he was kind of lost in the loop at USC. So you have to take that into consideration. He's never had to be the guy yet. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you know, it's a little different when you got all them eyes on you. So you have to take that into consideration. So,
Yeah.
but I do think he is wide receiver 1, like you said, and they're gonna need him to play big. As far as what do I think he's gonna do, I can't. It's kind of hard to say because, like I said, there's not a lot of production there,
Mhm.
so I can't. You know what I'm saying? Now his situation now is different, so it's like there's not a lot of production, and you got different situations, so that's kind of hard to gauge. It's just kind of like a wait and see type of deal. But I know he's gonna be relied upon a lot.
Right. Yeah, I think the Deuce thing is gonna go one or two ways too. I think that's gonna go boom or bust too, to be honest with you. Um,
I can see that for some of the reasons that I just named. Yeah.
it's tough because I think with Deuce, I think he's a good player, but it's um and I was thinking this too when I was watching Travis Hunter today. They was doing some stuff in shorts, and I was like, man, I didn't notice Travis Hunter the way he rounds off his routes um a lot, and I didn't notice that in college. And I guess it's because when I watched him in college, people really couldn't guard him one on one, so they always play a lot of zone. So, but in the NFL, if you round your routes off in the NFL, that shit gets picked off. Like these
Oh
these
yeah,
cornerbacks,
easily.
yeah, these cornerbacks are too good
Yeah,
for that. You know what I'm
way
saying?
too
So I'm
good.
like, he's gonna have to really, really change that. He's gonna have to really change the way he runs his routes. And I was thinking that about Deuce, like when you get a guy that's big, and I think with USC they use a lot of off leverage type stuff to kind of create open plays for him because they had that fast guy on the other side. They had two fast receivers, and so with that, those guys are pretty much taking a lot of coverage, a lot of the blankets coverage, so you can kind of scheme stuff for Deuce to get open. And
Yeah.
scheming somebody open every couple weeks that's fine, but it's kind of hard to really do it
Yeah,
when you're the number one. So
yeah,
you got
right.
to be able to beat press and beat man, and you got to be able to beat a lot of different coverages. So that's going to be kind of fascinating to see can he be
Yeah,
that type of wide receiver? Because I mean he's a
yeah,
big guy, and big guys have a hard time getting in and out of breaks.
yeah. And that's like just goes back to what I was saying because it's like you're gonna have to be able to beat a whole lot of different coverages, and now you haven't had a lot of experience or production, and now you've been asked to do a lot. So you know that's gonna be tough. Like so, it's just kind of hard to gauge where he's gonna be, but he's gonna have to be big for them to have any type of success in the passing game. He's gonna have to
Right.
be big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, we talked about some of the big time players today, man. I really want to just do a short episode. Dang, we got a nice little follow today.
Mhm.
I got
Yeah,
I
we
got to
got
do a bit. I got to do a better job put the pod out before we come on, so we can start getting more live listeners, man. But I'm gonna talk about the defensive side next episode. I want to get into talking more defense, and
okay.
they did say some stuff about recruiting, but I got to be honest with y'all, man. This staff is just not a good recruiting staff. It's just not, and I don't know how to really.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
don't,
frustrating.
I
Lord have
don't know
mercy.
how to really talk
Because
about it.
I don't know if you saw, old boy Lamar Brown canceled his visit to Florida State and
Yeah,
placed him in Texas. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah, and
five
the
five
big
star guy too.
the biggest problem with this staff isn't that they don't recruit the big time players; is that they don't identify the big time players until they become big time players. So they
Yes,
always late on those
yes,
guys. That's their
yes.
biggest problem. I mean, it's their
That's
biggest problem.
because I've heard I've seen every time I read up on a place, always you know it's always a part of that in the scouting report. Like
Yeah,
they're one of the last teams to come. Was like you. And then you see the teams that are ahead of them are Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, Texas. It's like you're not gonna win those guys. Like
yeah.
it's
You
it's
can't be
like
bad. You can't be bad and
no,
late. You can be good and late.
yeah, you
You
can
can
be
be
good and
good
like
late,
yeah,
but you can't be bad and late.
yeah. You gotta be bad and early. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you
Like
gotta
if
be
you
bad
bad,
and
you
early.
gotta be early.
You
You
gotta
know what
be
I'm
early
saying?
if you're gonna
So
be bad.
exactly. So yeah, I have seen it too many times. I write and stuff too, and I'm like halfway through, and it's like, yeah, well, they're like one of the last teams they just offered last month, and I'm like, but they got 37 offers, so you like offer 35 out of 37?
It's
That's
like
not good.
they just thought about getting
Yeah,
on campus when you've had 2 or 3 years to do this stuff to really ingrain yourself in a relationship with these players, and now you're trying to wait to their senior year to start really, really recruiting them. By that time, the recruitment is pretty much over. I mean,
yeah,
you
they
know what I'm
got
saying?
deep relationships with like 4 or 5 other programs. They've been
Yeah.
6 different visits at each school, so like you don't have a chance there.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right, right, right. So they
Yeah,
gotta, they not, but that to me was one of the biggest checks when they had a bad year last year. And I kept telling people I want to see some different stuff from the staff to see if they're going to be a really turn a corner and become might can make this program an elite program again. And people kept saying, "Oh, he got to hire some more recruiters, and these guys are going to be recruiters. These guys are going to be recruiters." Then you hire these guys, and you still keep hearing the same stuff. And I was like, "Well, Like I've been telling people, it's not the assistant coaches you hire, it's the head coach because you can't be on Mario Cristobal's staff and just mail in recruiting. You can't just be
No,
like, well, I'll call that guy next week. Like that don't fly with Mario Cristobal. And I'm not saying Mario Cristobal is some dynamic great coach, but I mean, they're gonna always recruit good at Miami. They're gonna always recruit good at Florida because both of those guys know how to do it. You know,
yeah,
they care about it. They give a shit.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
I mean, it's just that's always going to come back to be the Achilles heel for this team until they fix their recruit part.
well, for the
This is
program, you know, and then
yeah,
that's
the
just
whole program.
team. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a program. I mean,
yeah.
until and I don't know what it's going to take to get him there. Like I don't.
You would think he would have been there by now.
Yeah, that's one thing I just can't. You know, I would think somebody would have pulled him to the side and be like, "Hey, man, you got to do better in this department." But I just don't think they get it. And they keep hiring people that don't get it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, they keep hiring people that don't get it. And it's something odd about the way they go about their business and recruiting, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, man, this was a great episode. I'm, but for the record, I think people should be excited for the season because I do think you're going to
Oh yeah,
get more
it'll be better
clarity.
than last year.
Yeah, they'd be better than last year, and I think you're going to get more clarity on where the program is going and where Florida State fits in the pecking order in college football. Um, so this is another big year, just like every year is. So I don't think people should be too down on it.
No, I mean, and plus add last year. I mean, it has to go a little bit up from what we saw last year. So,
Yeah,
and I think just off the strength of the staff they put together on the offensive side, I think the Herb Hand, Gus Malzahn hires make you feel better about the offense, even though there's not, until we see it, from what you see on paper, you don't think there's going to be a lot of explosion like you were talking about earlier. But I
yeah,
mean that could change. But I think getting those two, if you're not going to be that explosive, being getting a guy that has that experience like Malzahn, and a guy like Herb Hand who has put guys in the league,
right.
from college, like that's a plus for them. So it'll be
Yeah,
better last year.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. But that's the pod. Make sure if you're on the YouTube, man, leave a comment, leave a go nose in the comment, hit the like button. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Florida State Seminoles, Voice of College Football. Go and subscribe to it. Hit the like button. Leave some 5-star reviews. You know what I'm saying? And we are out.
See y'all next week.